Moving on to the Battle of Ostro. This will be the Arctic Dominion and the Solaris Confederation. Now, these factions don't have war cruisers. They have fighters. So we'll kind of see how this battle plays out. Moving on to the next battle, the Centaurian Resistance. We end up with 5 times for the cannon and a 4 shield. The battle cards for the Centaurian Resistance, we have Targeting Lock and Raider Focus. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2. So Targeting Lock is what... Okay, so with Targeting Lock, this is interesting. This is for the first round, combat round only. And on 4, 5, and 6, the Centaurian Resistance is going to score hits. However, notice it says on here, if your opponent wins this combat, they receive 1 VP immediately. Now remember, we're not playing for VP in this co-op mode at all. However, if you win VP or gain VP in any way in the game, you get resources instead. So I'm hoping this one level 3 Centaurian Resistance fighter doesn't take out our whole fleet. I guess it could happen. I hope it doesn't. But we'll have to determine who is going to win the VP. And then also, I should mention the spoils for winning this battle is Master Politics. For the player battle card, so the Arctic Dominion only has Final Stand, and this entails immediately destroying a war cruiser or battle carrier. So I don't want to do that. I don't have any war cruisers, but I do have a battle carrier. I don't want to destroy that. However, with the Solaris Confederation, they have a card called Ambush for the first combat round, and I'm going to get to roll 2 combat dice and assign damage immediately, and then go to normal. So I'm going to use Ambush for them. And also remember, our leader is the Tactician for the Solaris Confederation. So I'm going to roll an extra die whenever you control 2 ships of the same type, participating in the same battle, right? So we only get 1 extra die from this ability per battle. So for the first battle, I do have multiple fighters, and I do have multiple Dark Raiders, but I will only get 1 additional die to roll for the Solaris Confederation. The Centaurian Resistance will roll first and ends up with 1, 2, which is a 4 and a 5, but remember they had the target lock, so that's actually 3 hits that they land on us. Now in terms of cannon strength, there are 2 levels of cannon strength going on with our fighters. The Solaris Confederation has a total of 5 cannon strength on their 2 fighters, and then cannon strength on the Arctic Dominion side is only 4 cannon strength on their fighters. So when it says several, I think there's some interpretation in this rule. So what I'm going to do is take this 3, and I'm going to assign that to the first fighter, Theta 1, for the Solaris Confederation. There's only, like I said, there's only 2 ships that have that much firepower, and these 3 hits are going to actually take that fighter out, unfortunately. But thematically, that seems like that'd be something you'd want to take out the stronger ships first, and that's exactly what this algorithm is doing. In the comments, tell me what your thoughts are, how you guys are playing it. But so that's how I'm going to do it. Moving on to the player's roll. So I'm going to roll 2 for Ambush. Right, I get to roll 2 combat die, which do nothing for us, unfortunately. Okay, so the fighters are going to roll next. This is Theta 1 on both sides. I have 4 dice total for Arctic Dominion and 5 dice for Solaris Confederation. And we get 2 hits. So there are 2 shields left. We get to roll these again. And there is 2, 3 more hits. That takes out the Centaurian Resistance card. We gain that. And then remember, we could roll 1 more die since we had a pair of fighters for the Solaris Confederation, but that's no longer necessary for this round. In that round, our only casualty was Theta 1. So I will remove this ship from the game, and let's see what we get for the warship squadron. So we end up with a total of 8 and a total of 5 shields, but that's going to give +4, so we're at 9 shields then for the first of the 2 warship squadrons. So the first roll for the squadron is going to be 2 hits. I should also mention I took 1 damage per player. So Theta 1 and Theta 2, the fighters on both sides, took 1 damage already. The ship with the most cannon power that is alone now is Theta 2. So these 2 hits will be ascribed to that ship. And that fighter, it's a fighter, so that fighter will be gone for the next battle round. So for the player's roll, these are for the fighters. This is Theta 2 for Solaris Confederation and Theta 1 for the Arctic Dominion. And that looks like a pretty decent roll. So a total of 5 hits, I'm sorry. I need all the hits I can get. So 5 hits, so 4 shield is what that first squadron is down to. Rolling for the second fighter, this is a total of 4 dice for the Arctic Dominion. This is Theta 2. And 1 additional hit. So down to 3 shields for the warship, or the squadron. And then finally rolling for the 3 Dark Raiders. And the single carrier for Arctic Dominion, and then the 2 Dark Raiders for the Solaris Confederation. And then remember, I get to roll 1 extra die per battle because of my leader. So I'm going to leverage that as well, and let's see what we can roll. And 1, 2, 3 total hits. So that takes out the shields for that squadron. However, the squadron still remains to go on to the next round. As I'm editing this video, I realize I had another die to roll for the Solaris Confederation's carrier, which I didn't roll. That's unfortunate. That could have changed that battle, actually, but so it must have been a weapons malfunction. Okay, moving on to round 2 of the battle. I need to remove the fighter from the Solaris Confederation, Theta 2. So that fighter has been destroyed in that previous round. Before the squadron rolls, I do need to put 1 damage per player. So Theta 1 will go up to 2 damage for the Arctic Dominion. And then the only ships I have left for the Solaris Confederation is the battle carrier that has 1 shield, and then the 2 Dark Raiders. They do not have any shields on them. They all have the same cannon strength, which is just 1. So, you know, we're in a tie of several ships for that. And in terms of the least amount of damage required, that's going to be one of these Dark Raiders. So one of these is going to take, I'll go on 1. This is 3, so that'd be Omicron 3. I'm going to put it on 1, and he's not going to survive this battle, but can still participate in it. I should also mention I did use the leader's ability for the additional die roll for this particular battle, so I can't use that again. And unfortunately, after this round, I'm going to lose another Dark Raider, so that's not going to be available to the Solaris Confederation going forward until I get more ships into a battle of the same type. The Warship Squadron will roll and ends up with 3 total hits. The first of those is going to take out Theta 1, which is the fighter. And then the second 2 are going to go onto Theta 2, which is the second fighter for the Arctic Dominion. Okay, so rolling for the fighters first, which is the Arctic Dominion. Believe it or not, I did actually get some hits here. So that destroys the first of the 2 warship squadrons. Again, we can only destroy 1 per round, so that immediately ends the round. I can't roll the rest of my hits from the other ships within this battle to put against the next squadron. And as you know, I need to assign a damage 1 per player at the next round. Alright, the casualties from that battle. I'm losing another fighter. So this is Theta 1 for the Arctic Dominion, and also Omicron 1, which is the Dark Raider for the Solaris Confederation. And we are moving on to the second of the 2 warship squadrons. Unfortunately, the damage, I need to assign 1 to each. That is going to put Theta 2, my remaining fighter, past the shield, right? So that's he's not going to survive. And then I'm going to need to assign the other one to Omicron 3, that is, yep, Omicron 3, because he is the, again, the cannon strength is all equal, there's no population involved, so the one that has the least amount of damage is going to be that particular ship. Okay, so the warship squadrons roll is, wow, look at that, that's beautiful. 1 single hit. In terms of cannons, they are all tied up, so that's going to go against this battle carrier. So I will take that 1 damage and put it on that battle carrier, and that is Sigma 1. Roll for the Arctic Dominion first. This is for the fighter, rolling 4, and then 1 each for the 3 Dark Raiders and the carrier. And let's see, oh, this doesn't look too shabby. 2, 4, 5. Here's the 9 shields. I remove 5, so there is 4 shields left on the second squadron. Solaris Confederation. 2 more hits would be nice, and we get 2 more hits. Look at that. So down to 2 shields. The casualties from that round, Omicron 3 is gone, and unfortunately our last fighter, Theta 2 from the Arctic Dominion, is out as well. And we need to assign 1 damage per player. That will hit this carrier, so that carrier is not going to survive this round. And then for the Arctic Dominion, all of our ships that are left have the same cannon strength, right? So that's all the same. In terms of what will cause the least amount of damage to destroy them, the 3 Dark Raiders are all tied. They have 2 shields each. There's 3 shields on the battle carrier. However, you know, we have so many ties going on, it's falling down to the level of the order in which you assign it to ships, which is the cruisers, the fighters, the carriers, and then the Dark Raiders. So I'll put that on Sigma 1 for that one single damage. So the squadron rolls again, and only 2 hits. One of these hits of the 2 is going to go against Sigma 1, the carrier here, that will destroy it. And then I have 1 more to assign. So that will go against Sigma 1 to bring that ship up to 2 damage. That's over here. And let's roll again for the players. There is 3 hits. So those 3 hits take the final 2 out, and the third of which takes out the second of the squadrons. The casualty here is the carrier. So Sigma 1 is gone. I still have 2 damage sustained on Sigma 1 on the Arctic Dominion side, but we can move these back to the hex. Looks like Arctic Dominion fared a little bit better just because of the cannon strength on the Solaris Confederation side. And then finally, let's resolve the Centaurian resistance, which is a regular one here, with the 2 Dark Raiders from Solaris Confederation and the Sirius Theocracy. Since it's just a regular level, we're just going to do a resistance level of 2 on this one. So the card for this one is 2 cannon attack and a 2 shields. So 2 Axinium, 2 Phasium is the reward. And drawing the battle cards, we've got Protean Ship and Carrier Focus, so I will roll for that. 3. So this is the combat card that the Centaurian Resistance got. They're not going to use it, however. They already are rolling 2, so there's no reason to copy us. So I'm just going to discard those. And then in regard to our cards for the battle, the Sirius Theocracy is going to use Alien Hunter. And you can use this any combat round. So if we're fighting against the Centaurian Resistance, which you are, we're going to score 1 hit, plus 1 hit after rolling. So we are rolling 2 for the Resistance, and that is no hit. And then for our 2 ships, we will roll 1 each, and we have 1, and then a plus 1 hit. So that takes out the shields of the Centaurian Resistance. It goes back to them to roll, and they get 1 hit. These 2, let's see, so that is going to go against the Solaris Confederation. This Dark Raider has no shield, so cannon strength is the same on both. So this ship gets taken out. However, we're still in the battle, so we're still going to roll a die each. And 2 1s. That's horrible. This ship is destroyed. The Centaurian Resistance goes again and does not roll a hit. I'm going to roll my single cannon for the Sirius Theocracy, and there's that hit to destroy the Centaurian Resistance. So I'm going to get this reward. The other player, it doesn't matter. Normally we could decide who gets this, but in this case the Solaris Confederation was knocked out of the battle anyway, so the Sirius Theocracy gets this. And I will move this to the destroyed side within that hex and move my ship back there. All of the warship squadrons have been destroyed, so we do have the opportunity to attack the Centaurian Stronghold. The ships that attack need to be adjacent. Now, you don't have to do this, but you do have the option to do so. The ships have to be adjacent to the center hex. The attack is always a base attack level of 8 and a shield of 8 with the shield bonus based on the turn number that you're in. So as you recall, we have a shield bonus of 4, so it's at a total of 12 for its shield level. The one other thing to bear in mind with this is each and every ship that goes to battle with the Stronghold takes 1 damage before the Stronghold even rolls its 8 attack dice. It's not just 1 per player, right? 1 damage per player in the battle. It's every single ship in the battle. In addition to that, hits are only scored from the players attacking the Stronghold with 6s. There's no longer 5 and 6. So that makes it a bit more difficult. And again, remember, you can't use any battle cards or any of that. The hits from the Stronghold are 5 and 6s still. So players will suffer damage based on those rolls. So let's launch our first attack on the Stronghold. Again, in turn 1, there's a shield bonus of 4, and there's a total of 4 tokens on the Stronghold. So we need to get through each one of those. So that is 12 shield per token, and you can only destroy 1 token per the actual battle round. So it's similar in that the squadrons, during a particular round, you could only destroy 1 squadron. It goes for the tokens as well. And as you go to the next round, each ship within the battle takes 1 damage. The last thing I want to point out is I'm going to take all of the adjacent ships into battle with the exception of the carrier for Arctic Dominion and the carrier for Blackwater. So I want to leave... No, so they're adjacent to this hex. They're not within it, right? You can't even be in this hex. And it says that you may attack the Stronghold as long as there's no squadrons left on the board, which there aren't. And the reason I want to leave 1 ship back is because of the Centaurian resistance that have been effectively taken out of those hexes. So when they come back to their repair turn, which will happen at a stage in the upkeep stage, if we have a presence within that hex, then it will not go back to its active side. So that's kind of my intention there. The rest of all these ships are going to go into battle, and so they will participate, but 1 ship is going to be left back for each one of those factions. I'm curious of your interpretation on that as well. This is a bit different in terms of the battle. In that we're not sharing a hex with the Stronghold like you are with squadrons and the Centaurian resistance. In that case, we don't really have a choice. We need to go to battle, with the exception of cloaking with the resistance, obviously. But that's a very specific situation. All right, so the battle begins. Each ship that is within this battle has taken 1 damage. So let's roll for the Stronghold, and we end up with 3 hits. The ship with the most cannon strength that's left after all that initial damage before the Stronghold even rolled is Blackwater's cruiser. So that 3 damage gets ascribed to that ship, which puts it at its shield limit. This one from the Serious Theocracy is already knocked out based on the initial damage that ship received. All right, let's roll for the 2 war cruisers first. And we get 1 single hit. However, we do have the tachyon scanner. This is round 1 of the battle. So that is 5 die left over that I could potentially re-roll for the Serious Theocracy with the tachyon scanner technology. Alright, we're rolling for the Dark Raiders and the carrier. Ooh, alright, we favored a little better. So there's 2 more hits. This goes down to 3. So they're down to 9 total. And I do have 2 more from the initial round of the battle for the Serious Theocracy. So that brings us up to 7. So I'm going to roll 7 additional dice based on the tachyon scanner. And again, that only applies for the first round in any battle. All right, the tachyon scanner roll. One more hit. So down to 8. Casualty from that round is this cruiser. All right, the initial damage, 1 per ship has been assigned, and the stronghold rolls again. Ooh, this is not good. 2, 4, 5 damage. All right, well that hurt. Those hits, those 5, 3 went to here, and 2 additional went to this carrier. The rest of these folks from the single damage are already over, just went over their shield by 1. So this roll is gonna matter to see if we can get, well, every roll matters in this game, right? Sometimes it just takes 1 die to make the difference. That's what's really cool about it. But to try to get one of those levels, I need to get some hits. All right, one last ditch effort. Everybody fires at once. And horrible roll. So one more hit. Still maintains 7. So the rest of this fleet was taken out by the stronghold. The first conquest stage comes to an end, and I am at deploy population. As I was editing this video, I realized that when I explored this hex, Sol, and this is down in the bottom right, I did not draw an event card for this player. So I'm going to do that now. It doesn't matter necessarily, so right, it's a Bane, but I wanted to just clean that up. In terms of the rules, this player has sector scan, as they all do, so this will not be applicable, but I did want to at least do that action. Alright, so deploying population in this carrier, I have 3 population. Now, again, we do have this outpost here, so this is going to be a factor to decide how many I want to put down. So of the 3, I'm going to deploy 2. This player does not have landing maneuver, but there are no moons on Sol. So by deploying this population, I can reveal, and it's a deserted outpost. So that's good. Although, you know, I wanted to have a few population there in case I had to roll or wanted to roll against the outpost. And there's technologies you can research like surface cloaking to not have to deal with any of the attacks for the outpost. But so this works out good. I'm going to leave that there as a placeholder to show that that one was revealed. Likewise over here we have, now there's some moons on this one, however I have landing maneuver for the Solaris Confederation. So, and I have 3 populations, so I am going to deploy 2 population here as well and reveal. And another abandoned outpost. Moving to the upper right, we have Blackwater here with only 1 population. So to deploy, I can only put 1 down. There's no moons on this planet, and I don't have landing maneuvers, so that's okay. And let's show this. Ooh. And now we've got a level 2 outpost here, and I only have 1 population on this planet. Okay, so let's resolve the attack for the outpost. I am going to attack the outpost, otherwise it's just going to attack me anyway, because I do not have surface cloaking. I get to roll 2 dice. You take your population that you deployed, which was 1 plus 1, so I've got 2. I can't add any dice to the attack. If I had a fighter in orbit, I could. If I researched infrastructure, I can add another die, an additional die. And then also, if I had quantum targeting, if you recall, 4 or better are successful hits. But I don't have any of that, right? So I just have 2 dice to roll. I need 2 hits to take this out. And I got 0 hits. The outpost will now respond. Based on the level, you add 1 die to that, so the outpost is going to roll 3 and not get a hit. That is beautiful. So we will remain there. Unlike space battles, you go through one iteration of the rolls, the players who have population on the planet first, and then the outposts, and you do not keep going back and forth like you do in space battles. So we will remain on this planet. Next round, however, we will have to also try to address this again, because we still may lose the population there if we can't take this outpost out. And finally, to deploy population, we'll move to the upper left here with the Serious Theocracy. Now, going through editing the video, I realized that I had actually, for this player, picked a stranded transport when we did the event for here. So I do get another population cube on that particular carrier. So I'm going to do that just to resolve that. It didn't really affect any of the rest of the game, as that carrier was off in the fringes there of space. So he officially has 2 population cubes on him as opposed to just the 1. Okay, so we will deploy 2 population. We have landing maneuver, so we don't have to worry about anything on the planet, and reveal this as a level 1. Okay, so we get to roll 3 die, and we have the 1 hit needed for this level 1 outpost. The outpost immediately is destroyed and discarded. There's no simultaneous battle like there is in space battles. And we get to pick an outpost level 1 card, which gives us, what do we have here? Learn and receive Phasium Refinery and 2 Phasium. That's great. Again, you can keep cards for victory points when you're playing in a competitive mode, but we don't need victory points in this. We need resources, and the Phasium Refinery as well. That concludes the first of the 2 conquest stages in turn 1. I'm actually going to end this video series here. Hopefully that provided somewhat of a overview of the scenario, the Centaurian Stronghold. I need to get this game to the table. My gaming group's really clamoring for it, so thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks again.